The galaxy was silent the night the prophecy returned. Far beyond the edge of known space, an ancient temple floated around a dying red star. The temple was older than every living race, built long before any modern empire even existed. Inside this temple lived the Sarathi, one of the oldest and wisest alien species in the galaxy. Their skin was silver, their eyes blue like frozen oceans, and their minds were filled with memories from thousands of years. Tonight, every Sarathi elder had gathered inside the Hall of Echoes, a huge circular chamber with glowing walls and tall crystal pillars. In the center stood a machine feared by all, the Star Mirror. The Star Mirror did not show faces. It did not show places. It showed the future. And tonight it was active again after many long centuries. Elder Vial, the oldest living Sarathi, walked forward slowly. His arm shook not because of age, but because of fear. The other elders watched him in silence. "Begin the vision," Vial said in a soft voice. The crystals around the Star Mirror lit up, and a bright beam of energy shot into the air. A swirling picture started forming, a picture of the far future. But something was wrong. The mirror usually showed many possible futures at the same time. Hundreds of paths, thousands of outcomes. Tonight it showed only one, a single path, a single shadow. The elders leaned forward, confused and afraid. The vision zoomed in, showing a world that none of them recognized at first. A blue world with oceans, mountains, and storms. A young planet. A peaceful planet, the Star Mirror spoke in a deep, echoing voice. "This world is the beginning." The elders gasped. Before they could ask anything, the vision changed. Strange creatures appeared, walking on two legs. Small, weak, and covered in dust. They used sharp stones as weapons. They hunted animals. They made fire. Primitive creatures. Nothing special. But the mirror did not stop. It began showing their future at incredible speed. The creatures learned to build homes. They formed tribes. They planted crops. They made tools of metal. They fought wars. They built cities. The elders' eyes widened as the creatures continued to evolve. "These creatures, they grow too fast," Elder Rin whispered. "They adapt," said Elder Kirill. "Every time they fall, they rise stronger." The mirror showed disease spreading across their world. Millions died. But the creatures survived. The mirror showed giant wars. Entire cities burned, but they rebuilt. The mirror showed disasters, earthquakes, storms, floods, but they endured. "They do not stop," Val said. "They do not break." The mirror then showed the creatures building rockets, machines that rose into the sky like firebirds. Then it showed ships traveling beyond their world. Then it showed armies holding weapons of light. And then, the vision changed again. What the elders saw next made the entire chamber fall into silence. A massive fleet of metal ships shaped like leviathans flying through space. Thousands of them. Maybe more. The primitive creatures were now masters of the stars. Their armor glowed. Their ships burned with blue engines. Their weapons looked powerful enough to cut through planets. And at the front of this fleet stood a symbol the mirror highlighted in bright white light. Humanity, a word none of the Sarathi had ever heard before. The mirror spoke again. "They rise from the fragile. They rise from the broken. They rise from nothing. Yet they conquer everything." Elder Vale felt his legs weaken. This cannot be true." "A new race? One we never knew? How can they be so powerful?" The mirror did not answer. Instead, it showed the final future. A dark sky, burning planets, massive alien armies, thousands of species joining forces against one enemy, and in the center of all of it, humans. Humans standing tall, humans fighting without fear, humans winning every battle. One human soldier walked forward in the vision. His armor was scratched. His visor glowed red like fire. He looked at the entire galaxy as if he feared nothing. Behind him, humans shouted a single phrase, "For Earth." The vision ended with a final blast of light. The chamber went dark. The Star Mirror shut down. The elders were speechless. Then Elder Kirill whispered the words no one wanted to hear. "The shadow has returned." Elder Rin shook his head. "But the last prophecy said the shadow would destroy everything. Are these humans the shadow? Are they the danger?" Vial stepped forward, breathing heavily. "No," he said. "They are not the shadow. The shadow is their power." Silence spread through the hall. "Do they attack the galaxy?" Rin asked. "No," Vial answered. The mirror did not show them conquering the galaxy for greed. It showed them fighting because they were forced. They were pushed. They were challenged. And each challenge made them stronger. Kiril's voice trembled. Then what are they? Vile finally spoke the truth. They are the species that cannot be controlled. They are the survivors. They are the fighters. They are the storm we cannot stop. He looked around the chamber. One day these humans will reach the stars. And when they do, the galaxy must choose. Fear them or stand with them. The elders bowed their heads. The prophecy was clear now. Across time and space, the ancient races saw one shadow growing in the future. Human power. The vision of the humans stayed in the minds of the Sarathi elders long after the star mirror shut down. For many days, the ancient temple remained silent, as if the entire structure held its breath. No one spoke. No one dared to look into the mirror again, but the galaxy did not stop moving forward. Time passed. Years turned into centuries. Centuries turned into millennia. And slowly, quietly, the prophecy began to come true. Far away from the ancient temple, on a small blue world called Earth, humanity continued its restless journey. They built machines, they created nations, they fought wars, and they rose again, just as the mirror had shown. And one day, humans broke the greatest barrier of all. They reached the stars. The first human colony ship, named Odyssey 1, flew through space like a bright silver arrow. Inside it were thousands of humans, scientists, pilots, soldiers, families. They were excited, nervous, and full of hope. They believed they were pioneers, explorers, the first of their kind to step into the galaxy. They had no idea that ancient eyes were already watching them. Light years away, in the hidden chambers of the Sarathi High Council, the elders gathered again. But this time they were not afraid, only curious. Elder Vale opened the meeting. "The humans have done it," he said. "They have left their world." Elder Rin closed her eyes. "So the prophecy begins. But look at their actions," Kiril said. "They come in peace. They explore. They search for new homes, not for war." Vile nodded. "Yes, they do not seek conflict. They seek survival, growth." Rin leaned forward. "And what happens when other species challenge them? When someone tries to stop them?" Vile's voice turned cold. "Then the galaxy will see the power the mirror showed us." The chamber fell into uneasy silence. Several human ships entered new regions of space, sending signals and scans in every direction. They saw stars no human eyes had ever seen. They found planets with strange colors, new gases, and unique minerals. They learned fast, faster than any species had expected, but it did not take long before they discovered they were not alone. The first alien species to make contact were the Tarneks, a small insect-like race known for fear and paranoia. Their ships were tiny, shaped like metal shells with sharp claws. They approached the human vessel cautiously. Humans, being humans, sent a friendly message. "Hello, we are explorers from Earth. We come in peace." The Tarneks nearly had a full panic attack. "These are the prophecy beings," their leader whispered. "They talk politely, but they will destroy us someday." The Tarneks retreated immediately. Humanity stood confused. Meanwhile, in the political halls of the Sarathi, news spread quickly. "First contact has happened." The Tarneks fled. "Did the humans attack?" "No, they greeted them." This confused many races. The prophecy had spoken of humans as a coming storm, a force that could not be stopped. So why were these same humans smiling and waving like friendly neighbors? Kiril laughed softly. "We feared them so much. But look at them. They behave like curious children." Val didn't laugh. "Do not forget what the mirror showed. Children can grow into giants." Back in human space, exploration continued. Colonies expanded across several star systems. Humans named planets after Earth myths, Nova Gaia, Eden Prime Helios 3. They built labs, cities and spaceports. They argued, they negotiated, they learned, and most importantly, they adapted. Their technology grew at an unbelievable pace. The first warp drive appeared, then the first energy shields, then advanced AI, then ship engines faster than any alien expected. Within one human lifetime, they had advanced more than most species did in 1,000 years. And the galaxy noticed. The Starbound Order, a coalition of powerful alien nations, held a secret meeting. Their chamber was vast, floating above a gas giant, surrounded by thousands of warships. The leader, a tall crystalline being named Azerion, spoke first. "We must discuss the humans." A murmur filled the room. "The prophecy is real," said another. The Sarathi warned us. But they have not attacked anyone, a reptilian general argued. Not yet, Azirian replied. But their growth is unnatural. Too fast, too dangerous. A small council member asked, what do we do? Watch them? Fear them? Stop them? Azirian's answer shocked the room. All three. While the galaxy debated humanity's future, the humans continued forward, unaware of the growing fear around them. Captain Lena Ward, commander of the ship Unity, stood on her bridge with a smile. This is history, she said. We're building a future among the stars. Her crew cheered. Humans were full of excitement, hope, and a strong desire to explore. They believed the galaxy would welcome them. But the galaxy was nervous. For the first time, alien ships began appearing near human borders, not attacking, but watching, observing, recording everything humans did. Lena noticed them. Why do they keep their distance? She asked her science officer. Maybe they're scared, he replied. She laughed. Of us? That's impossible. But she didn't know the prophecy. She didn't know humanity's future had been seen thousands of years before she was even born. Back in the ancient Sarathi temple, Elder Vial stood alone in front of the star mirror. He touched the crystal surface gently. Show me the humans again, he said. The mirror flickered. It showed Earth. It showed colonies. It showed human fleets. It showed them growing, expanding, pushing forward like an unstoppable tide. Then the mirror whispered, they rise. They learn. They endure. And soon the galaxy will test them. Vial sighed deeply. So the storm comes. He turned away. The quiet fear spreading across the galaxy was like a cold wind. Light at first, almost invisible, but growing stronger with every human discovery, every human invention, every human step into the unknown. Humans explored new star systems with excitement, but the rest of the galaxy watched them with rising worry. To many alien races, humans were no longer a mystery. They were a threat. And the prophecy, once whispered only in ancient Sarathi temples, began to appear in political documents, secret meetings, and military reports. Every alien leader heard the same chilling words. The humans will rise. And when they do, nothing will stop them. The first major alarm came when a human science ship landed on a moon near the borders of the Dravari Empire, a reptile-like species known for discipline and strict laws. The humans had only come to study rocks, but the Dravari saw something different. To them, this was the beginning of expansion. The first move of a dangerous species predicted to dominate the galaxy. The Dravari Emperor called an emergency council. His voice echoed across the stone chamber. The prophecy species has reached our border. If the star mirror's words are true, this is only the start. We must observe them carefully. One general spoke. Observe? Emperor, we should strike before they become unstoppable. A second general disagreed. Strike? They have not attacked anyone. Let us wait. The Emperor closed his eyes. Waiting is dangerous. Acting is dangerous. Humans are dangerous. And the room fell silent. Elsewhere in the shining crystal cities of the Aelari, a race known for intelligence and long lifespans, fear spread like wildfire. Their leader, High Scholar Senlira, stood before a council of thousands. Her expression was calm, but her eyes held worry. We have studied humans for decades now, she said. Emotionally unstable, physically adaptive, rapid intellect growth, social unity under pressure. This combination does not exist in any species. A young scholar asked, do you believe the prophecy? Senlira sighed. I did not once. But their growth proves the ancient vision was real. They rise too quickly. They change too quickly. If pushed, they may become something even more dangerous. A hush fell across the room. Then someone whispered the forbidden phrase, shadow of the future. Across the galaxy, reports kept coming. Report from the Varkun. Humans survived a deadly virus on a new colony. Their biology adapted in days, impossible. Report from the Colliery. Humans built a fusion reactor with scrap materials. How? Report from the Mektar. Humans do not fear death. They charge into danger to save others. Terrifying. Every species came to the same conclusion. Humans were not normal. The Starbound Order, the most powerful alliance in the galaxy, decided they could no longer ignore the growing fear. They held a massive meeting inside their floating station, the Crown of Unity, which orbited a bright blue star. Azarian, the crystalline leader, opened the meeting. We must discuss the humans. Representatives from 27 powerful species sat in silence, listening. Azarian continued, "The prophecy warned us. The Sarathi warned us. And now reality warns us. Humans rise too fast." A heavily armored warlord slammed his fist on the table. "Let us eliminate them now before they become a threat." A gentle, plant-like ambassador shook her head. "Eliminate them? Why?" "They have not attacked anyone." "They will," the warlord growled. "The prophecy says so." Azarian raised a hand. "Prophecies do not always tell violence. They tell change. The humans bring change, and that is what frightens us." The council members murmured amongst themselves. Then the representative of the Sarathi, Elder Rin, stepped forward. "You fear them because you do not understand them," she said softly. "But we have studied their nature. Humans do not seek war. They seek growth, curiosity, survival. And when another species threatens them?" the warlord asked. Rin's voice became cold. "Then they fight like fire." The chamber grew tense. "So," the warlord said, "they are a danger." Rin shook her head. "No, they are a mirror. They reflect the galaxy's actions. Treat them with fear, and they will react with fear. Treat them with violence, and they will respond with war." Azarian asked the question on everyone's mind. "What do we do?" No one had an answer. Meanwhile, in human space, the mood was completely different. Captain Lena Ward stood at the observation deck of her ship. Unity. Her eyes were wide with awe. "Look at that," she whispered. A massive nebula shimmered outside her window, glowing purple and gold like a living painting. The crew around her smiled. Humans were explorers, dreamers, adventurers. They didn't know about the fear spreading across the galaxy. They didn't know they were part of a prophecy. They didn't know ancient civilizations had predicted their rise long before. Earth even had cities. They only knew one thing. The galaxy was beautiful, and they wanted to learn everything about it. But danger was growing. Alien scout ships began appearing on the edges of human space. Not attacking, not communicating. Just watching. Lena noticed them. "Why do they keep running away when we hail them?" Her second officer shrugged. "Maybe they're shy." Lena laughed. "Aliens shy?" But deep inside, she felt something strange, something dark in the silence of space, as if the stars themselves were whispering warnings she could not hear. Back at the Sarathi temple, the star mirror glowed once again. Eldervale stood alone, hands trembling as he activated it. The mirror showed fleets. The mirror showed tension. The mirror showed fear spreading like a storm. Then the mirror whispered, "The galaxy fears humans, and fear shapes destiny." Vile whispered back, "And humans? What do they feel?" The mirror answered, "They feel hope. They feel curiosity. But soon, they will feel something else." Vile froze. "What?" The mirror's voice became dark. "They will feel threatened." And the ancient elder knew. The council hall felt strangely silent, as if the old walls were holding their breath. Kareth, the Xylorian historian, stood in the center of the large circular room, staring at the hologram he had just unlocked. Around him, the other ancient races watched with tense eyes, every species older than humanity, every mind wiser and more cautious. But none of them had ever seen this. The hologram showed a simple human silhouette. Nothing more. No armor, no weapon, no crown, just a shadow of an ordinary human. Yet the entire hall felt cold. The silence grew heavier, as though the shadow itself was watching them back. The races who once ruled entire star systems, who survived cosmic storms and wars with gods, suddenly felt small. Kareth swallowed hard. This is the future projection. All futures collapse into this one shadow. Every timeline, every possibility. Humans stand at the center. A few races stepped back. Even the boldest soldiers felt a strange fear crawl across their skin. Miles away, still traveling inside the alien escort ship, the human soldier, Captain Adrian Holt, had no idea what the ancient races had just seen. He only felt an invisible weight pressing on him, as if something somewhere had spoken his name. Lyra, the escorting officer, noticed his uneasy expression. "You feel something?" she asked softly. Adrian nodded. "I don't know. Like someone is watching me." Lyra didn't reply. She didn't want to tell him that millions of beings across the council now feared his kind. She didn't want to say that hundreds of ancient factions were already whispering, "Humans are waking. The shadow has survived. The old prophecy has returned." The ship moved through a shimmering worm corridor, and for the first time since the journey began, Lyra felt afraid of the person sitting beside her, calm, unaware, human. Back in the council hall, Kareth played the next segment of the recovered file. The hologram shifted. This time it displayed a timeline, starting far in the past and stretching into the distant future. There were symbols, battles, cosmic events, and strange star-shaped marks representing major turning points. The oldest council member, Elder Vorth of the Trinari, walked closer with trembling steps. "There, look," he whispered. The timeline showed the ancient races rising. It showed them discovering space, forming alliances, creating the first council, exploring galaxies. Their history looked powerful and proud, but then something strange happened. At the very end of the timeline, far beyond the rise and fall of most species, one simple figure remained. The same human shadow. It stood alone. Everything else faded into dust. The ancient races gasped, shocked by the implication. When all others vanished from the future, one species, Homo sapiens, still stood. Kareth's voice shook. "The scans show this is not a prediction. It is a warning written by the pre-ancients. The civilization even older than us. They saw something terrifying, something unstoppable." One of the council generals finally spoke, his voice low and tense. "What exactly did they see?" Kareth turned toward them, eyes wide. "A human." Meanwhile, Adrian tightened the straps of his armor as the ship neared its destination, a massive space station floating like a dark crown above a dying star. Lyra watched him with mixed feelings. Humans were usually friendly, chaotic, emotional, but harmless. Yet now she wondered, harmless? Or hiding something even they didn't understand? Adrian caught her staring and smiled. "You okay?" She forced a small smile. "Just thinking." He nodded. "Me too." He didn't know why, but deep inside, something ancient stirred within him, like a sleeping fire waking for the first time. He looked out the window at the dying star. For a moment his reflection changed. His pupils flashed just for a fraction of a second with an unfamiliar golden light. Adrian blinked. "Gone. What the hell?" He rubbed his eyes, thinking it was just exhaustion. But the fire inside him didn't fade. It burned brighter, as if the universe itself recognized him. Lyra didn't see his eyes change, but she felt a strange surge of energy pulse through the room. Her people were sensitive to quantum shifts. They could feel when something powerful awakened in the fabric of space. She stepped back, confused and afraid. In the council hall, a final message from the ancient file began to play. A deep, distorted voice filled the room. "We saw every end, every war, every dying star. And in the end, one shadow remained. From the smallest world rises the greatest power. Fear the species who evolves without limit. Fear the humans." The room shook as the projection ended. No one spoke. No one moved. No one breathed. The council had faced invincible machines, galaxy-swallowing beasts and storms that tore dimensions apart. But never this. Never a warning against a small, young species that did not yet know what it was capable of. Elder Vorth finally broke the silence. "We must decide how to deal with humanity before the shadow becomes real." The members nodded slowly, but deep in their hearts they all knew the truth. They were already too late. Humanity's power had already awakened, quietly, silently inside Captain Adrian Holt, and he didn't even know it. Not yet. The escort ship drifted toward the massive council station, its metallic rings turning slowly in the dark. Stars burned quietly around it, like distant eyes watching the arrival of a guest no one could understand. Inside the ship, Captain Adrian Holt stood near the airlock, adjusting the final pieces of his gear. His hands were steady, his breathing was calm, but something inside him felt different, as if a second heartbeat pulsed under his skin. He didn't tell Lyra. He didn't know how to explain it. He didn't even understand it himself. The air around him felt warmer. His senses felt sharper, and every second the strange energy inside him grew stronger. Back in the council hall, panic had already begun to spread. The leaders of the ancient races spoke in fast whispers. Their voices shook with fear as the echoes of the ancient prophecy replayed in their minds. Fear the species who evolves without limit. Fear the humans. General Taltor, a battle-hardened warrior from the Jorak species, slammed his staff on the floor. "This is madness," he roared. "Humans are weak. Humans are young. How can they be the shadow that ends all futures? Kareth answered quietly. Because the pre-ancients never warned us about a weapon, or a monster, or a god. They warned us about a potential. Something that grows stronger every time it survives. Elder Vorth's voice trembled as he added, and humans survive everything. The hall grew silent again. Some of the oldest species, beings, born from nebulae and cosmic dust, had witnessed countless civilizations rise and fall, yet never had they heard of a prediction that terrified them this much. What do we do now? Someone asked. Elder Vorth closed his eyes. We observe the human called Adrian Holt. We watch every step, every breath. Before the shadow he carries becomes unstoppable, no one disagreed. The escort ship landed with a quiet thud on docking platform. 12 lights flashed across the deck as the doors opened with a hiss. Adrian walked out slowly, looking up in awe at the massive interior of the station. Thousands of alien eyes stared at him from balconies above, some filled with fear, some with curiosity, some with silent hate. Lyra walked close beside him, pretending everything was normal. But inside she was shaking. She could feel the unusual energy around, Adrian growing stronger with each passing minute. It was like walking next to a star slowly waking up. Just stay close, she whispered. I will, Adrian replied, though he didn't understand why she sounded scared. They entered a long, transparent corridor that overlooked the burning star outside. As the two walked, Adrian suddenly felt dizzy. A sharp pain stabbed through his skull. He stopped, gripping the railing. Adrian, what's wrong? Lyra rushed to him. He opened his mouth but couldn't speak. His vision blurred. The star outside glowed brighter and brighter until everything became white. Then, flash, a wave of images slammed into his mind. A battlefield under a red sky. A giant machine breaking mountains. A ship tearing space apart. A council fleet burning. A shadow standing alone in the light. His shadow. A voice, deep, ancient, impossible, echoed inside him. Wake up, human. Your future is calling. His eyes shot open. The corridor alarms blared. Lights flickered. The window glass vibrated as if reacting to him. Lyra stepped back, terrified. Adrian, your eyes... Golden light burned in them. Not a reflection. Not a trick. A real glow like molten stars. Adrian blinked and the light slowly faded. But the energy inside him did not. Across the station, every high-level sensor suddenly activated on its own. Screens flashed warnings in red. Unidentified energy spike detected in docking sector. Unknown human source. Anomaly level critical. The council members froze as the alert appeared on the hall's central monitor. Kareth whispered, It has begun. Elder Vorth's heart sank. The shadow is waking. Inside him. Adrian leaned against the corridor wall, breathing heavily. His vision cleared slowly. The strange images disappeared, but the echo of the voice remained deep in his mind. Adrian, what happened to you? Lyra asked softly. He shook his head. I don't know. I saw things that don't make sense. Lyra stepped closer. For the first time, she didn't hide her fear. Humans are changing, she whispered. Your species. Your evolution. It's not normal. Something inside you has awakened. Adrian didn't answer. He didn't understand what he saw. He didn't understand why his eyes glowed. He didn't understand why the universe suddenly felt smaller. But he knew one thing. This was not a hallucination. This was not a dream. This was real. And whatever had awakened inside him was growing stronger. In the council hall, General Talter spoke with dread. We cannot allow the human to reach full awakening. We must contain him. Kareth shook his head. Contain him? You saw the projection. We cannot even understand him. Elder Vorth looked toward the star outside, its dying light flickering like a warning flame. Humans were never supposed to awaken this early. Something has accelerated their evolution. A dark truth settled over the room. And now, Vorth whispered, the shadow of the future walks among us. On the docking platform, Lyra finally steadied herself. Adrian, the council will not understand this. They may think you're dangerous. Adrian looked at his trembling hands. Maybe I am. But Lyra shook her head. No, you're something new. Something powerful. Something they fear because they cannot control it. She stepped closer, lowered her voice. I will not let them hurt you. Adrian met her eyes. Why? Because, Lyra whispered. I think your awakening is not the end. I think it is the beginning. Adrian didn't respond, because deep in his chest the second heartbeat pulsed again. Stronger, louder, awakening. The council station grew strangely quiet as Adrian and Lyra walked deeper into its metallic corridors. It felt as if the entire structure was holding its breath. Every light flicker, every echoing footstep, every far-off alarm sent a cold shiver through the air. Adrian could feel the strange power inside him growing again. Not in a chaotic way, but in a controlled rhythm, like a long-sleeping engine warming to life. He didn't know what it meant. He didn't know where it came from. He only knew that something was changing, and the universe could feel it. Meanwhile, in the highest chamber of the council, a heavy tension filled the room. General Taltor paced back and forth like a caged animal. Elder Vorth watched the star outside with shaking eyes. Kareth read the energy readings again and again, unable to believe them. "It's impossible," Kareth muttered. "Human biology should not react like this. His cells, his very DNA, is rewriting itself." Taltor slammed his fist on the table. "This is why the prophecy warned us. This is why the pre-ancients feared humans." Vorth whispered. "Their fear was not of destruction, but of transformation." "What does that mean?" someone asked. Vorth turned slowly. "It means humans were never meant to stay as they are. Their evolution does not stop. Their strength does not stop. Their potential does not stop." He pointed at the screen showing Adrian's life signs. And now one human carries the spark of that limitless future. A chill ran through the chamber. Taltor narrowed his eyes. "Then we must act now," he growled. "If the shadow is awakening, we must extinguish it before it becomes a storm." The room went silent. Every leader understood what he meant. Every leader knew the cost. But none wanted to say it. Adrian and Lyra reached the observation garden, a giant glass dome at the center of the station. Stars stretched in every direction, and the dying sun glowed orange on the horizon. Adrian had never seen anything so wide, so endless, so peaceful. Yet peace didn't fill him, only confusion. "What am I becoming?" he whispered. Lyra stepped beside him, her expression soft but sad. "I think you are becoming what humans were always meant to be," she said. "Something bigger than your own understanding." Adrian shook his head. "I'm just a soldier from Sol, a normal man. I'm not meant for any prophecy." Lyra turned to him fully. "Normal humans don't make station alarms scream. They don't glow with starfire. They don't shake the energy fields of an entire station." He stared at her, stunned. "You knew?" he asked. She nodded. "I suspected it. From the moment I first saw you fight, you moved like someone guided by something deeper." Adrian swallowed hard. "You're afraid of me?" Lyra hesitated, then shook her head. "No. I am afraid of the council, not you." Before Adrian could respond, the dome lights turned red. A deep alarm vibrated under their feet. "Containment order activated. All personnel evacuate immediately." Adrian's heart dropped. "What does that mean?" Lyra stiffened. "It means the council made a decision." A blast door slammed shut behind them. The walkway sealed. Energy fields activated. The entire dome became a containment cage. Adrian took a step back. "They're trapping us." Lyra whispered. "No, Adrian. They're trapping you." On the other side of the dome's shield, Taltor stood with hundreds of armed guards. Their weapons glowed with blue energy, anti-human frequency, designed for maximum pain. Kareth approached carefully. "General, we must not rush." The human is confused. "He is not hostile," Taltor growled. "Potential is more dangerous than action. If he awakens fully, nothing in this station, nothing in this sector will stop him." Elder Vorth stepped forward. "Human," he said through the speaker system, "listen carefully. We are not your enemy, but you carry something inside you we cannot allow to grow unchecked." Adrian stared through the glass, chest rising and falling. "So you fear what I might become," he said quietly. "Yes," Vorth answered. "We fear the shadow of the future. And today we see it in your eyes." Adrian lowered his head. He didn't want to fight. He didn't want anyone to die. He only wanted answers. But something in the air shifted. Every guard lifted their weapon. Lyra grabbed Adrian's arm. "Don't do anything sudden, please." Adrian nodded. He stood perfectly still. Then Taltor gave the command. "Fire." The world exploded. Hundreds of beams shot toward Adrian. Blue energy filled the dome like lightning. Lyra screamed. Adrian instinctively stepped in front of her, raising his arms. The beam struck him, then vanished. No burn, no pain, no wound. The energy dissolved into thin air around him like snow landing on fire. Everyone inside the dome froze. Everyone outside did too. Adrian's heartbeat pounded louder than the alarms. A golden glow began spreading across his skin. His veins lit like molten lines. His eyes turned bright again, this time brighter, stronger, like twin fragments of a star. "Adrian," Lyra whispered, stepping back in awe. The human stood taller, breathing calmer, voice deeper. "I didn't choose this," he said. "But you attacked me. You made your choice." He raised his hand. Not in anger, not in hate, but in instinct. The entire dome shook. The energy fields cracked. Outside, guards stumbled as a wave of invisible force pushed outward. Talter stared, horrified. This is impossible," Kareth whispered. "No, this is human evolution, unbound." Elder Vorth trembled. "The shadow of the future has arrived." Adrian stepped forward as the floor lit beneath his feet. He wasn't a weapon. He wasn't a prophecy. He wasn't a threat. He was becoming something else. Something the ancient races had feared and waited for. Lyra placed a hand on his arm. "Adrian, what are you now?"